I know, I look like hell, right? It's early on a Tuesday morning. You know what I'm gonna do later? Hi everybody, by the way. It's good to see you. Thanks for being with me. I'm gonna start saving about, I don't know, 30 bucks or so a month. I'm gonna cut my own hair. I ordered a clipper set off of Amazon, and I've been watching YouTube videos about how to cut your own hair, so later today, I might have to wear a hat, but we're gonna see how it goes. This is the newest trailer behind me, the black and gray. Hey, there's Marina up on the deck. Wave. She just got up. This trailer is black and gray. This is the newest one I bought back in the first of the year, actually. Hang on just a minute. Okay, where was I? I was coming into this trailer because I have sold my camper, actually. And I want to show you what my plans are. It's an absolute mess in here right now. This trailer is a 7x16, and we're using it right now, as you can see, for storage, and it's a mess. We emptied everything that was in the regular camper into this camper, and so I'm out here trying to straighten some things up and throw some things away, because long term, my plan, Lord willing, is to convert this cargo trailer into a camper, and that way I can design it exactly as I want to. Hopefully that'll work out. The truth about RVs is they're mostly junk. They're just not made well at all. And so, Marina's health is not the best. She's having trouble with arthritis in her spine, among other things, so she just wasn't able to go very much, and I was kind of going by myself, so I just thought, well, why keep it? I'll just sell it, and down the road, if she gets better, then we can do something else. So that's what's going on. Now, there's something I want to talk about today, but before I get to that, I apologize for kind of disappearing off of YouTube. I don't really have any excuse. Not that I need one, but I'll just be honest, folks. Sometimes, I talked a lot about politics and what have you, and which is fine because it does interest me. I got to get a little coffee. But in order to do a proper video, a lot of times you have to spend some time studying and researching and finding out exactly what's going on and gathering your thoughts and whatnot. And that's not to say I won't do that again. I certainly will. But I've been considering, because I really do want to put up more videos and get up more regular content. And as much as I don't really care that much for stream of consciousness things, I've been thinking about maybe converting my channel, not converting it, or making my content more stream of consciousness, not necessarily political, if that makes any sense. Like, okay, I'm going to the grocery store right now, come along with me, that kind of thing. I don't know if it'd be nearly as interesting, but I do want to keep my channel going. So really, what I have in mind is just doing content that's not completely political, but can be more personal, or this is what's going on in my life, or that kind of thing, where I would be able to post a lot more regularly, because it wouldn't take quite as much effort, to be quite frank with you. Anyway, if that interests you at all, let me know down in the comments and what you think. Some of you may say, yeah, we just want to hear from you. So I don't know. Others may say, just go away. We don't want your channel up anymore. Just let me know how you feel, and we will proceed henceforth. All right, there's something I do want to talk about. Can you tell I just got up? Early morning here in Alabama, but it's nice. I want to talk about a pet peeve. Do you have a pet peeve? I have several pet peeves. I've talked about them before, actually. Let me find a chair and sit down real quick here. Like slow drivers in the left-hand lane on the interstate, that sort of thing. But I have another pet peeve I want to talk about this morning. But I want to tell you a story that kind of ties in with this that will give some body to what I'm talking about. Now, many of you won't care anything about this, but it helps to illustrate what I want to talk about. About 2 weeks ago, the National Football League had their annual draft, and that's where all the teams gather in a specific location, and they all select the best football players from the college ranks to become professionals. And so they did it in Green Bay a couple of Thursdays ago. Well, there was a young man who was a quarterback for the University of Colorado, and his name is Shedeur Sanders, Shedeur, Shedeur Sanders. He's the son of another famous athlete, Deion Sanders, who played for the Atlanta Falcons and the Dallas Cowboys, and he also played professional baseball. He was a wonderful athlete, multifaceted, incredibly fast. And he eventually became the head coach at the University of Colorado, and his son, Shedeur, was their quarterback. And he's a really good quarterback, and a lot of people were speculating that Shedeur was going to be drafted very early in the first round. They have like 7 rounds, and the best players are selected first, and on and on and on it goes. Well, Shedeur was not drafted in the first round, which was on a Thursday night, and he wasn't drafted in the second round, which was on a Friday night, and then the successive rounds are held on Saturday. And so many of these sports prognosticators on TV and radio were just outraged that Shedeur wasn't being selected. Finally, in the 5th round, Shedeur Sanders was drafted by Cleveland on a Saturday. And people were just outraged by all this. But that's not really what I want to talk about. This is what I want to talk about. All these players wait by their telephones for the call from the head coach or the general manager of a football team saying, hey, we're about to select you. Just want to let you know. And it's a big production the NFL has. Well, there is a coach with the Atlanta Falcons whose name is Jeff Ulbrich. Okay? Jeff Ulbrich had a laptop that was left open, I guess, at his house. And on that laptop were the names of potential draft choices of the Falcons and their telephone numbers. Well, Jeff Ulbrich has a son whose name escapes me. Jax, his name is Jax, Jax. Jax is a student. He's like 20 or 21 years old. No, he might be a teenager. I'm not certain. I do know this. Jax is a student at Berry College in Rome, Georgia. And during the draft, Jax walked by his father's open laptop, and he saw the numbers of these assorted athletes that the Falcons were considering drafting. And among the athletes, for some reason, was the name of Shedeur Sanders. Well, Jax decided to prank Shedeur during the draft, and so he called his cell phone number, and Shedeur is there waiting for this call, and Jax Ulbrich says to Shedeur Sanders, this is so-and-so with the New Orleans Saints, to which Shedeur replied, hey, I've been waiting for you to call me. This is like around the 3rd round or so. And Jax Ulbrich, in his prank call, says to Shedeur, listen, stand by, we're about to draft you. To which Shedeur replied, that's wonderful, it's legendary. That's his big thing, he's legendary. Well, it was just a prank call. And Shedeur, it never happened, of course, until 2 rounds later in the 5th round when he was finally drafted. So this has been just an outrage, and it's been the stuff of sports talk, radio, and TV commentators still to this day. Like 2 weeks later, people are still talking about it. So, needless to say, Mr. Ulbricht is in a lot of hot water. And the National Football League responded to this situation by fining the Atlanta Falcons $250,000, and they fined Coach Jeff Ulbricht $100,000. I wonder what he had to say to his son when he got fined $100,000. I own you, maybe. I mean, this is a bad thing. It shouldn't have happened. It was a prank. It was kind of cruel, kind of heartless. But there was so much outrage, over the top outrage to this, so much response to this, that finally, of course, the Falcons released a statement. They apologized for this. Coach Ulbricht released a statement apologizing for all this. And his son basically came out and apologized for doing what he did. This is what I want to talk about. He apologized, he said, for making a mistake. This is what I'm getting to today. There's so many words in the English language that are misused, misapplied, misunderstood, misappropriated, such as racism. I've talked about that before. But this word mistake and the usage thereof drives me nuts, because so often people say they make a mistake when they did not make a mistake. It's not a mistake when you intentionally do something wrong. That's the point. Last year, I had a loan on my old RV, and I was getting that thing paid off. I was making like 2 payments a month, that kind of jazz. So I sent a check. Who uses checks anymore? I sent a check to the bank, my credit union. And, I wrote the check out to the credit union, wrote in the amount and all that. I sent it in the mail. I was always at least a month ahead. And so I'm watching my bank, a few days later, and I noticed that the check had not cleared. And I wondered, what's going on? Why have they not cashed my check? That kind of deal. Well, about 2 weeks later, I didn't know what was going on. About 2 weeks later, I get a letter from the credit union. And I open up the letter, and inside the letter is the check I'd sent them. And their letter said, "Thank you for your payment. Unfortunately, we can't process the payment because you didn't sign your check." Doy. Now, that was a mistake, right? A mistake is something you don't mean to do. It's something you should have done, but you didn't do it because you just forgot or you overlooked it. There was no ill intent on my part. There was no, I wasn't meaning to do something wrong. I just forgot to sign my check. So I quickly signed the check and hopped in my car and drove to the credit union and gave it to, here's your check. Here's your signed check. And I corrected that mistake. What Jax Ulbricht did, how bad it was, you can decide for yourself. But what it was not what he said. It was not a mistake. Why wasn't it a mistake? Because he meant to do it. This wasn't an oops. He intentionally picked up a phone and called Shadur Sanders and pranked him. However you feel about a prank, that's not really the point of this. Later on, when he got in such hot water to the point that his father got fined $100,000, he came out and apologized for his mistake. That was not a mistake. When you forget to do something you should have done, that's a mistake. When you don't intend to do something that you did, but you shouldn't have, but your intentions were right, mistakes are just oversights. It's something you overlooked. It's something you forgot to do. You forgot to sign a check. You forgot to add an ingredient into a dish you were making. That was a mistake. There's a difference between mistakes and sins, if you will, or whatever you want to call it. When you intentionally do something wrong, it's not a mistake, right? I mention this because I hear this all the time, especially it seems among athletes. They're always talking about mistakes they made, or people who got in trouble for breaking the law, or and they got caught. They'll own up to their mistake. When you intentionally break the law or do something wrong, it's not a mistake, folks. Now, why do people do this? I think they do this because they don't want to basically confess their sin, if you will. They just don't want to come out and say, I did something really bad and I shouldn't have done it, and I'm sorry and I won't do it again. When you do something wrong, intentionally wrong, first of all, you shouldn't do that. But if you do that, you just need to basically say, I shouldn't have done that and I'm wrong. It wasn't a mistake. There's a difference. So when we do bad things, we should just own up to it. Be a man, be a woman, be a grown-up, and own up to what you did that was wrong. But understand the difference in a mistake and a sin, or a law breaking, or whatever you want to call it. That's a pet peeve. Does that resonate with anybody? Well, let me know. All right, I'm going to have my coffee and get back to my cleanup here, and let me know your comments down below, what you think about what I said today. I would appreciate that. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you soon.